Officers are formally charged for faking an undercover operation to sexually assault women. Sharon Coe has more from police headquarters.
The Bexar County District Attorney says former officers Emmanuel Galindo and Alejandro Chapa victimized nearly 25 women. In 2015, a woman came forward, telling police she met a cop who referred her to another cop for a job.
Promise was they were going to get paid X amount of dollars a day to work undercover, and that they had to qualify first, meaning that they had to satisfy certain levels of qualifications.
That included having sex with the officers.
They obviously were victims, they were preyed on, they were tricked.
Investigators say phone records and other witnesses all pointed to Galindo and Chapa.
So the fact that they were police officers is very disappointing because that's a public servant. No one's above the law. And when it's appropriate, we're going to defend police officers if that's the right thing to do. But when it's appropriate, we're going to hold them accountable.
Many months later.
Two San Antonio police officers accused of using their jobs to trick women into having sex are found guilty on all charges. The two former officers are Emmanuel Galindo and Alejandro Chapa. Today, the jury heard closing arguments from both sides. The jurors unanimously convicted both officers of aggravated assault, compelling prostitution, and official oppression. The defense then called up character witnesses to try and convince the jury of a lesser sentence. Emmanuel Galindo's wife was the first to take the stand.
I can promise you that his punishment with me at home is probably, hard enough already. I mean, I was so angry when I learned about all of this. If you could just please let him stay home with us, it would mean everything.
The punishment phase will resume Monday morning. Both officers face up to 20 years in prison.
Welcome back to Time Served, the channel that scans the docket so you don't have to. Years after this disgraced SAPD officer Emmanuel Galindo was convicted in 2017 and sentenced to 10 years, he's out on parole and in front of a new judge, the Queen of Bexar County. And she wants to know all the facts surrounding this motion before she lets this sex-crazed maniac into a new home. Oh, what's the matter? His teary-eyed wife had enough of him after years in the clink. Anyway, like and subscribe, set your notifications to all. Let's roll, nerds.
Have there been conditions given to him or no?
Judge, I'm looking at a court summary. I don't know if the court has it. I can.
No, I can.
Okay.
Thank you.
I do believe that conditions were set at one point. At least I saw the conditions specifically to the other counts, but I don't know about as it relates to this specific count.
All right. And the location where he wants to reside is with his daughter?
The issue where he will backtrack a little bit, Judge. So the address where he's residing or would reside is where his sister lives.
Mm-hmm.
His sister,
Niece.
I'm sorry, his niece. That address has been approved by parole. His niece does have my client's daughter residing there as well. And so the issue is that the address has been approved by parole. My client has been compliant with the requirements that he wear a monitor at all times. The issue is that probation, because of the SONU conditions, is not allowing him to reside in that address. And so if he moves out of that address somewhere else that's not approved by parole, then he's maybe violating parole conditions. And that's
All right. So we're in a little bit of a limbo. State, I'm assuming you're not approving.
Correct. Yes, we don't agree to them allow living with any minors.
All right. So what I can tell you is I'm not even allowed to even consider this until the parties who are in the household are approved as chaperones by the sex offender unit. So I think that's what needs to happen first, because if that hasn't happened, the answer from the court is going to be no, because it has to be someone who's approved. So I understand that parole is saying that you're paroled to that location, but you're going to have to let parole know that you're on probation for this.
And there is an issue, Judge, like I brought it up with Mr. Cabañas, like he wasn't granted more than 8 years on any of his 21 counts.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in 2017. So he shouldn't be even on parole, to be quite frank. Is 8 plus, my math is bad, but 8 plus 17 is 25. And so this year he should have been removed, but it's showing when I pulled this NCIC display that he's paroled until 27, which would have been 10 years, which without any other account.
And we discussed that, Judge, and I did see it on the judgment, and I was talking to Mr. Villarreal about it. But it did seem a little bit strange.
I guess that's my concern, is that if parole does correct it, we shouldn't be really taking guidance from parole.
All right, let's do this.
That's stack 5, so that's why it's 10 years.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
My client was telling me that he has stacked 5-year sentences, Judge. That's why it's.
Oh, maybe he'll be stacked.
I looked at all the judgments and they're kind of they're a wreck, and I don't see any. I didn't see any, and I could be wrong, of any that were to run consecutive.
All right, let's do this because there's a lot of confusion over this. One, I'm not the judge who heard this. That would be that guy right there.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know if there have been any conditions set for you for probation. And according to the state, I don't even know if you should be on parole. And if you should not be on parole, then somebody needs to correct that.
So the judge ran the 8s and the 5 concurrent with the stacked 5. That's what happened. That's why I have a 10 maximum year of TDCJ. So I have 1 year left to serve on parole.
Well, what I can tell you this, if the judgment doesn't say that, then
Precisely.
Yes.
Precisely.
So
yeah, what he said. So we need to figure out what's going on here. But what I can tell you, if I rule on this right now, it's going to be denied because there isn't even a chaperone that's approved. I don't know what's happening with your other cases, but what I can tell you is what's in the judgment is what counts. It's not, just people thinking this is the way. Sometimes people make mistakes. I understand what you're saying, but I have to look at the judgment. Your attorney needs to look at the judgment, because if you should not be on parole, then it's probably best that you not be on parole. So we can recall this back for late January, or when would you like to recall it?
Well,
Or we can call it later.
Judge, my concern for my client is, where he'll reside until January. I understand that it's obviously become a financial issue for him. At the same time, he can't reside in that address because, of the minors who are there. But I don't know that. And then we have the issue with parole. And so my concern is, what can my client do to not disobey both parole conditions and these Bexar County probation conditions?
Well,
I'm looking at the compelling right now, and all it says is to run concurrent with several of the other counts.
then, if you all want, you can come back later this week if you think you'll figure something out.
Would probation be able to even prove this? I guess theoretically, if the court were to consider this, would probation be able to even make that assessment as it relates to it?
Does somebody want to call and see if they can do it quickly? I want to call probation and see if they can expedite it.
Do you know?
Sorry. Chaperone. The problem is with the chaperone, they have classes. But if parole is asking for him to parole at that location, maybe parole has already done a chaperone.
parole stated that I don't have any child restriction stipulations, ma'am.
Oh, so that answers that question. They didn't do a chaperone. So, yeah. All right. I just want to see if they're going to call.
Thank you,
They
Judge.
need to call. Thank you. See, the day starts off great, then it just.
Nothing's.
Many unbearable hours later.
Probation. They don't do the interviews for the chaperones. It has to be the treatment provider. Member treatment. And so he, from what I could see on the TCIC NCC, he wasn't paroled until November 25th. And so it's just been recently released, signed the conditions on the 5th. So I don't know if he's been really set up to do any of that. Yeah. And I was, Mr. Galindo was correct. the judgments are kind of funky. One of the counts of compelling doesn't have any reference to consecutive. It's the one other one that says it's consecutive to it. So he did get those consecutive terms. So he should be on.
Okay, so when will his parole end?
2027.
All right. So at this time, legally, my hands are tied with regards to residing until there's a chaperone approval, and then we'll need to be a hearing. So at this point in time, it's denied. And counsel, if you could remain on the case,
Sure.
If you all want to come back and have a hearing once there's something in place for oversight of the minor, then the court will consider that.
Okay.
All right. So just whenever you want to set it, count.
Yes, Judge. Thank you.